Alright, so the next the process of O2 cleaning the tank. I thought I'd put together a little video here showing it. So the first step is we take our tank and we're going to fill it with these glass beads. So these beads are here just to kind of make a surface, a cleaning inside the tank that's not abrasive, but that does kind of rub on the sides without taking off any metal, like you would with your rolling tank to remove rust or corrosion. Just making sure all the surfaces are getting completely washed. I use 5 pounds of the glass beads. Definitely much easier with a little funnel to make sure you're not making a mess with the beads everywhere. And once you got all the beads in the tank, we're going to use some industrial cleaner. This is called Blue Gold. It's a food safe degreaser. Use a little bit of that. So next we're going to add some water. I found the easiest way is just to count. That's hard to talk and count at the same time. So I filled the tank about half full. It's about 15 seconds. Time to fill in one from the start to full, or from empty to full, was about 30 seconds. So next we put the cap on the tank, what the tank came with initially. Now we're going to roll this for 15 minutes. The tank roller, it rolls about 25 RPM. Alright, so we finished doing our 15 minutes of rolling the tank with the beads and the blue gold and water. What we're going to do now is we're going to empty the tank. I like to do that in some sort of bucket so I don't have to find all those beads. And I loosen the cap, but I don't take the cap off until I've got my little strainer here under it. Now unscrewing the cap, and I have all the screws. Alright, minimize the beads that are going all over the place. You can see those guys draining in there. After that finishes draining out all the beads and the water, that was our cleaning mix. You can see now we're down to just water. And we're going to fill it back up all the way to rinse it. And do that twice to make sure we've gotten all the soapy residue out. Now it is very important to dry the tank right away after doing this process. It is especially important for steel tanks to dry it with compressed air first instead of just air drying or drying directly with the heated air. So we get a little bit of a flash rust. Alright, our next step, after finishing the second rinse, we're going to dry this with compressed air. This is O2 clean air. So I found the easiest thing to do is use one of my smaller tanks with an old regulator. And see here that we got a little under 3,000 pounds in it. I usually do use out of this 40, 2,000 pounds of air to dry it out. So once we finish drying with compressed air, it's very handy having your own air supply. Take the tank, switch it over to the heated dry. And run that for about a half hour. You also want to clean the tank valve. So this one has been in the ultrasonic with some blue gold. I've completely disassembled the valve so you can see all the way inside there. I'm going to rinse it off in some fresh water. Get all the studs off. Here's all the pieces inside for this valve. Different manufacturer valves all look a little bit different in what's inside. And we're going to reassemble this valve. So we've got the copper washer in there. Make sure you obviously wash your hands right before putting this together. You don't want to add any contamination back in there now that you've made it all nice and O2 clean. Screw in the valve seat. See in here, this one has, where's my screen? This one has a washer inside and then another one that goes in there. And you'll put the valve back together again. Screw it back in. Now this is done quite tight. Once you have the valve together, you put the rest of the valve, the hand wheel back together. A special tool for putting the nut back on. And screw it in until the stem is flush. Screw. And the valve shouldn't feel any play in the valve. You put a new O-ring on the stem. The O2 cleaner setup, you definitely want to use a new O-ring. Put a little bit of Crystal Lube on there. That's an O2 safe lubricant. This is a Viton O-ring, which is also safe for O2. And then a small amount of the Crystal Lube on the stem that'll spread. And you put it back in the tank. So now we finished drying our tank, or cleaning our tank, drying our tank. Next, now we're going to do our visual inspection. I record all this, so I'll just go through the process that I do and then I'll record it afterwards. So first you start with an external. You make sure you're getting tank boot off and you're looking for any kind of damage outside the tank or any kind of corrosion. Get some sticker stuff. I like to remove all the stickers. Check the bottom. On steel tanks you'll find under the tank boot there may be a lot of corrosion and that can end up failing the tank. You're checking, hopefully you did this before this, make sure your hydro test was within. I just got this one back from Hydrostatic Test a couple of days ago. So your hydro test within every 5 years. This one was done February 22 and it is now February 22. And so once I finished inspecting all the external things, then I'm going to use my light to check inside. You're going to look at the threads first. Make sure that there are no damage to the threads, no cracks. Count the threads. make sure there's enough threads for the manufacturer's manual for that pressure tank and that material. And you're going to inspect inside the tank, looking for any kind of corrosion. You shouldn't see anything after going through this whole process. You'll be nice and clean inside. Make sure you don't see any water droplets or moisture. And then since this is an O2 clean tank, we're also going to check it with a UV light. And this will show up any kind of contamination that you wouldn't see with the naked eye. And this looks beautiful. And here's my valve that I cleaned a little earlier. So it's already all ready for me to put back in. It's got a new Viton O-ring with crystal lube on it, a little bit of crystal lube on there. And then we will put the valve back in. It should go in very smoothly. If it rocks or anything like that, you may have the wrong valve for the tank. It should not bind. It should be able to go in smoothly, go hand tight. Now it is important not to over tighten. The O-ring is doing the majority of the work, but it does need to be on. So you see I'll just do from the close to the valve itself, just a gentle push on it. So it's a little more than hand tight, but not much torque on it.